So it's like she has this spirit that wants to attack and win, but her skill set's behind the spirit, if you will. So that to me is like, well, then we got to go fix this skill set. We got to go put the reps in. We got to go do the work. And that's exactly what we've been doing.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Okay, we're back. Part 2 about this amazing situation we've been handling. By the way, recently I found a book called How to Solve 50% of Your Problems. So I bought 2.
You're so silly.
I really got to get video going because you all got to see the expressions Jacquie gives me in here.
Yeah, nobody will listen to our topic anymore. They're just going to be like, can I see Jackie's face again after that one?
Totally.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit about sports and the learning and growth that goes along with it. So we had gotten the message that Crissy made JV and Drews made varsity, and I was going to talk to Crissy about it. And I said, I got the list from the tennis coach, who's varsity, who's JV. And she's like, oh, what is it? And I said, well, honey, as of right now, you made JV. Mm-hmm. I said, that does not mean it will stay that way, but as of right now, you made JV. She was like, I don't understand. I was trying hard at this and I showed this and I did, you know what I mean? All good points, of how hard she was working. I said, I understand. I really understand. I know you're frustrated. She was. And, she just kind of put her head on my shoulder and was just, just disappointed, super disappointed, and I think we can all relate to that moment where we need to feel it. We need to feel that disappointment. We're allowed to be disappointed. We're allowed to be hurt. We're allowed to say it didn't pan out the way I thought it would, or I saw this so differently. I mean, maybe as adults, it's something like we don't get that, business deal that we wanted, or maybe we don't get an opportunity to be invited to do something that we wanted to do, or maybe it's just something that we just really thought it was going to happen. Like our brains didn't even go to the thought that it would. And it's like, now you're rewriting what you thought. And so she was in the moment. And it was like, sometimes parents can be like, it's okay, shake it off. Let's not talk about it. Let's just go. But it's like, she's allowed to have those feelings.
Yeah, you got to be able to do it, right? It's like what we talk about, the $1 million formula for emotions. Most of us try to suppress emotions. We try to pretend like it, it's like the don't ever cry or don't ever feel. But the reality is when you do that, they just keep coming back worse and worse, and you never get to really manage it. You never get to learn from it. And so the $1 million formula is allow yourself to feel it, but only give yourself a certain window. So like actually fully feel it. So you're sad, you need to get a good cry out, go ahead. But let's not spend more than let's give this 30 minutes. Let's give this an hour. Mm-hmm. Let's not dwell on this for 5 days, right? Because then we're wasting time. But give it an hour. Like, it's okay. I'll hug you. I'll love on you. You can cry. Bury your face in a pillow for a minute if you need to. Whatever it takes. Go for a walk. But then the hour's up. And now it's like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. And the second thing is, okay, now I felt it. What can I learn from it? What's the positive life lesson supposed to come out of this? Well, and when you start thinking about that, your brain starts working out what is the positive. Instead of, dang it, why didn't it work? I did this and that didn't work. You almost go victim, right? If you let your brain stay there, you have to train your brain to be like, let me find the solution. Let me ask my mind, my beautiful mind, to start looking for what's right. And you know what? This is a great opportunity to actually go to a different level. Instead of playing within your current level, it's a great opportunity for you to outwork everybody and actually pass everyone. What motivation. This is fantastic. And then after you've learned that, now you got to take action towards it. And once you take action towards it, now the final step is now you can actually be grateful for whatever the situation was, right? So, I mean, that's kind of the $1 million formula we teach our coaching clients, et cetera. And you have to practice it, though, because it's not natural to do it. So anyway, so we were doing that with Crissy, right?
Right. I was just sitting on the bed and being there with her. And what was really cool is her sisters were around too, the twins. And they were just like, you know what, Crissy, like, you're a great player. Like, this is not defining, and hey, our coach told us this, and they were giving her like little like, pep talk of how great it was. And they're like, this is just the beginning. Next year, you're going to get on varsity. Like, let's use this year as an opportunity to do what we know we're called to do and all that stuff. And so we were just talking about it. And then, of course, Sweet Drews comes in.
And he's just a ball of energy.
And he's so sweet. I mean, but he comes in, he's like, he's super protective of Crissy and loves Crissy and just really like.
But he's in his own world too. You know
yes.
what I mean?
And so he comes, what's going on? And we're all like, we just got the list for tennis. He's like, what is it? And I'm like, you made varsity? He's like, yes. And I'm like, and he was like, how about Crissy? And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh. It's like his high highs and low low, you know? And he's like, it's okay. And you could tell from me, he was just like, and this is another such a good point, is that he was almost like, well, then we'll both be on JV. Mm-hmm. Like he had this moment where I just looked at him where he was just like, the whole point of varsity was for us to do this together. Mm-hmm. And if not, then maybe I should come down too.
Yeah, that's a sweetheart.
And I was like, you know what, buddy, we are so proud of you. Oh my gosh, this is great. And just gave him all the, amazing words of confirmation that he was exactly where he is meant to be. And I said, but we're going to work on this. This is not permanent. There's another chance in a couple weeks to try to be part of the varsity game. Or match. So she was like, really? I'm like, yes, this is not permanent. So Dad's on his way home. And so how about everyone gets their tennis stuff on? Why don't we get our shoes on and get our racket ready and let's get moving. Let's go practice. Let's make this impact and go do something with this. Yeah. And of course you came home and she's like, did you hear the news? And you're like, I did. But what are we going to do with it? You know what I mean? Like, are we going to fuel or are we going to, just say, never mind, I wasn't meant for tennis. Like, because I didn't make it because of 1 week of tryouts. Am I just going to throw it away? Like 1 week of tryouts is going to define if you're good or not. Like, that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
And, so of course you guys went and played a lot of tennis.
Yeah. We've been playing a lot. And because, the reality is she just needs some reps and she needs some time to get her confidence up. When you study your kids and you realize how they react, like one thing with Crissy is she is one of let's just say all our kids are very highly competitive, but she is no less competitive in some ways, maybe even a little bit more. And I learned that through cross country last year when I saw her actually get a taste of, oh, wait, if I just push myself harder, I'm going to be okay. If I can actually push myself to a point where I feel like I'm going to pass out and I don't. And because of that, she got top 5 finishes like the whole year, her first year doing it. And it just showed me, I'm like, man, she has a winner's heart.
And what's interesting about cross country is she didn't even want to do it at first.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to do a different sport. She's never done it before.
Yeah.
And that just proved to her that she can do things.
Right. So one of the things I learned about Crissy is I learned her competitive nature. But I don't know if anybody truly can feel fully competitive if they don't know what they're doing. And so that's kind of the situation she's in right now. It's like she wants to compete at a higher level, but she hasn't done enough of the right work in order to get her actually skill set to a place where she can compete. So it's like she has this spirit that wants to attack and win, but her skill set's behind the spirit, if you will. So that to me is like, well, then we got to go fix this skill set. We got to go put the reps in. We got to go do the work. And that's exactly what we've been doing, right? And
I thought it was pretty neat because we had to take the big girls to get a little coaching from the varsity coach.
Yeah.
And Crissy and Drews came with me to drop them off at the tennis club. Mm-hmm. And she said, you know what? I'm going to be the best player on JV, and I'm going to prove what they're missing out on varsity. Mm-hmm. And I said, yes, you will.
Now you're getting it.
And so we walked in, and, she needed her racket. Strings needed to be restrung. And, I said, Crissy, why don't we do that today? Why don't we get you all ready to be the best on the JV team right now? Mm-hmm. And so we did. But fast forward, where did she move up to?
She ended up moving to varsity.
They have these challenge matches every other week, I think it is. Where
I think it's every week. Actually, you have challenge matches like on Fridays or something like that, where you can actually. So if you're on JV, you can challenge someone who's on JV alternate, right? Because they're like, and then the people that are on, I'm sorry, varsity alternate.
Yeah.
And then if you're on varsity alternate, you can challenge people on varsity, so you can move up slots. And like every week it gets reorganized, you know? And so Crissy ended up having 2 matches and she won them both. And of course got moved up, which was so cool. She was so excited.
I was so proud of her though, because you know what? She got that attitude of, you know what? I'm going to refuse to lose. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to lose at this. I'm just going to win. I'm going to learn, and I'm going to get in there and prove to them that I can do the work. I can try hard, and you're going to want me to be on varsity. And so she has. And I will tell you, it's been so great, because at first, when you think your kids' confidence are going to go down and they might not keep trying and they might just kind of give up, you have an opportunity to really help them go to the next level by learning and not giving up, you know? And
Right.
as a parent, you know, we all want to protect our kids. We don't want them to have to go through things that will hurt them. We already know ourselves what it feels like to be hurt. We don't want our kids hurt, but sometimes that hurt is a good thing.
Yeah, and as parents also, we can get very protective. Like, well, why didn't the coach notice that how much more she has character than the other kids, and she's working harder than the other kids, and it's like none of it matters. You know what I mean? None of it matters. You know what we got to do? We got to go fix this problem. We got to go do the work, and you know what kind of solution can we have? I mean, so we started being solution focused, and we've been out there in the court, and you know we have the kids. They always have to reach out to the neighbor. We have a neighbor that has a tennis court
so
2
nice.
houses down,
They're so
super nice, and they're just always give us. But we make them reach out. We make them learn how to communicate. We make them have the courage to actually ask and be polite and use people skills. And if they say no, they say no. But if they say yes, then we go. You know, and then. You know, when I go and work with them, I'm like, we're going to be out here and we're going to be productive. Like, let's practice. I've been teaching them so many different things. Like, we have to practice like you're playing a game. Like, you have to play at that level. You can't just halfway stuff during practice and then expect to be full on when you're playing. It doesn't make any sense. You know, if you study people that are champions, like a Michael Jordan, he always talks about he worked the hardest in practices, right? Like, it's a game 7 of a series. That way, when the games showed up, it was almost like cruise control for him. It wasn't the other way around. He didn't have to go to a new level. And it's something I'm really trying to build in the kids right now. And they're starting to embrace it. But the reality is most practices you go to, everybody's playing like half. And I'm like, you guys have such an advantage here. Then, of course, there are things solution focused. We started thinking, who do we have in our life that could help? And we have one friend who, come to find out, you know, used to be a professional tennis player when he was younger. And he's a great coach, but he lives 5-6 hours away from us. So what do? Well, we started a text thread between him, his name's Brad. We call him Coach Brad, and the kids. And you know, Brad's great because he'll send a video and say, here's the things you got to work on. This is the stuff you got to do in your level. And then he'll send another one. And then the next day, like nobody was responding. He's like, I'm not going to keep sending you stuff if I don't know if you guys are putting any work towards it. So then the kids were like, oh, we were doing it. We just weren't communicating. So now they're communicating back and forth. They're giving updates. He's giving them things to do. So all in all of this is turning into such a positive thing, right? And I know one of Crissy's goals now is that next year when she gets into high school, she can just skip JV altogether and get on varsity with her twin sisters, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So we just got to do the work.
Yep.
And we got to keep doing the reps, and we got to keep focusing, and we got to keep working on the attitude. But you're so right, hon. Like, I guess the main point we're trying to make in this episode is that this could have gone bad quick. Mm-hmm. It really could have. I mean, when you're in a house with many kids as we have, and the twins are like showing up in the house and they're like, yes, we just won our varsity match, right? And they're celebrating. Drews is running around the house, woohoo, I made varsity. I'm on varsity. Come on, let's go. Loud he gets. And then Crissy, she's sitting there and she's like, what's wrong with me? And if we don't teach her how to interpret this properly, meaning we don't intentionally get in there and teach her how to think through this scenario like we've been describing, she could easily drift into, I guess I'm not meant to play tennis. Easily. And I think kids do it all the time. And I think that parents don't know what to do with this situation. So then they just kind of try out of their comforting heart to just be like, I'll support you no matter what you think, no matter what you feel.
Or whatever you decide.
Whatever you decide. And the reality is, you know what? The 14-year-old kid doesn't know how to make a good decision, because this is their first time experiencing failure. And so we have to teach them to fail forward instead of fail and retreat.
Yeah, I think it's one of our next topics is the importance of being an intentional parent in all areas and taking it serious every single day.
Okay. Well, let's do it then.
All right.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.